Word on the street, Duplessis is out with an injury, and I think the UFC were trying to book him for a UFC 317 International Fight Week against Chimaev. This is not great. If you look at Chimaev's Twitter, he's like, this guy number one bullshit or whatever. And obviously referring to Dricus, because who else would he be referring to? He was guaranteed a title shot. There's no one else for Chimaev to fight. And it just sucks, because sure, like, people are saying, well, if Dricus is out, book him versus Imavov. But the problem with booking Chimaev versus Imavov right now is that it's high risk, low reward, because Chimaev's already guaranteed a title shot. He's the biggest star in the middleweight division. He's fought and beat Robert Whittaker, which is, you beat Whittaker, you're getting a title shot. And it just really, really sucks, because John Aspinall's not going to happen International Fight Week. We know that for a fact. John, he says he wants 6 months, but who knows what's going on with negotiations, but it's very unlikely that John Jones' announcement will be that soon. I think, if anything, John is going to return in November, MSG, because I think they're going to do MSG in November. I don't have any confirmation, but generally that's how it goes. It just sucks, because Chimaev versus Imavov would be a really, really good fight. It would be a war, but I don't think they want to risk Chimaev getting injured or getting any damage, because I think they're going to probably try to rebook this fight sooner than later. In my guess, if it's a minor injury on Dricus's part, I could see them booking it in Abu Dhabi for October. But if it's a major injury, then I have no clue. And that's the thing. It's all alleged right now. There's no confirmation of anything. But, from Chimaev's tweet, and then there's a lot of rumbling in the Twitter spaces and everything, and people are saying he's injured. I can't 100% confirm it right now, but given the fact that there's silence on Dricus' team, if I'm not injured and I'm Dricus, I'm immediately going on social media and be like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? I'm not injured. I'm fine. We're good to go. So all signs are pointing towards an injury. And International Fight Week might be finished. Not in the sense of, like, I'm sure they're still going to have a decent card, but main event wise, unless Makhachev accepts Topuria, I don't see any other hype fight worthy of International Fight Week. I really don't. That's a championship fight. Obviously you guys can book, like, different things, like, exciting matchups in the, like, let's say the top 5 or whatever. But as far as, like, championship fights, which that's what International Fight Week needs, because I think they're going to do Pantoja versus, I think, Kai Kara France. But as everyone knows, the flyweight division doesn't really do great pay-per-view wise. I don't think they have any stars in the flyweight division worthy of pay-per-views in the International Fight Week. Obviously, they're really good fighters, but International Fight Week needs something big. And honestly, the only option they have is to just be like, hey, here's an extra $5 million, Makhachev. Please fight Topuria. Let's get this going, because other than them, I don't know what's going to save International Fight Week. Because if you think about it, 170's booked. 145 just happened. 155, that's on the table. Middleweight, not going to happen. Light heavyweight, I mean, they could do Ankalaev versus Pereira, but I don't know if Pereira's ready to come back that soon, especially since I think he wants, like, a proper, full, long training camp to really dial in for Ankalaev, because he's going to need to. I think Ankalaev beats him again. Obviously Pereira can land that shot, but seeing how the first fight went, and I get he had injuries and all that, but depending on how serious those injuries are, I don't think Pereira, especially, if he loses again, I think it's time to call it quits. So I think he's going to want to come in there 110% healthy. Like I said, heavyweight, there's so much log jams up in heavyweight. John's not coming back that soon. And and then the women's fights, come on, we're not going to have, like, a women's fight headline International Fight Week. No offense, but they need some massive, massive, massive fights. And I'm pretty sure the women's fights are already booked up. I think Valentina's fighting on the Marab card. Or no, sorry. It's Harrison and what's her name? Whatever. They're fighting on the Bilal and the Marab cards. So yeah, I don't even think you can do a women's fight unless it's like the Zhang Weili, but I don't think she fights that often. So even still, the UFC is really gonna have to pull something out of their ass like really soon because yeah, it's not looking great. I feel for Chimaev because like it sucks because there's been so many times where he had to pull out with illness and all that, and now his opponent is allegedly, but I mean, come on. And it's just what a nightmare for the division. What a nightmare for the UFC. Could this be karma for giving us such shitty cards lately? Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, if Chimaev and Dricus was on that card, that would have been like signed, sealed, delivered, 100%. You know, you add a few like decent ranking fights on that card, but I think that main event sells itself. I think it's good enough to headline International Fight Week. So yeah, the ball's in the UFC's court right now. Hopefully Makhachev accepts Topuria because I swear to God, if they book Makhachev Gaethje, what a fucking joke. Like I said in countless videos before, Makhachev, you need to do him the respect. You should not be giving him these fights where it's going to be minus 17,000 in his favor. There's no point of that. He wants to become the GOAT of lightweight, and beating Charles Oliveira and Khabib's like scraps, it's not going to do much for his legacy. You know, Justin Gaethje's stock isn't that high either, and I don't think. Could they pull Oliveira versus Makhachev? Sure, but is that really hype worthy for International Fight Week? No. Arman, that's a hardcore's dream fight, Arman versus Makhachev, but I don't think they're going to do that either because I think Dana White's still pissed off at Arman for pulling out. So yeah, all signs point to Topuria versus Makhachev. Here's hoping that they book that. That's the only fight that really makes sense star power wise. Because McGregor's not coming back anytime soon. Patty just fought. You know, I know Adesanya's not in the greatest standings with the rankings and all that. 3-fight losing streak, but even he could pull some numbers. I don't know about main event, but putting him as co-main or, you know, the feature fight, that'd be great as well. But I don't think Adesanya wants to come back that soon. I think Tim Welch was saying that Adesanya's on a break right now. I think he wants to come and return to fight Strickland. I don't know what Strickland's doing, but yeah, no. I really hope the UFC pulls out something great because other than the ones I've listed, I can't think of anything else that would be like, holy fuck, International Fight Week. Like, but then again, you know, the UFC has surprises before, but I don't know. It's just not looking great. And yeah, I'm really, really, really hoping that they have something in mind because the UFC should have a backup plan. Like, they're a huge company. They should have something figured out behind the scenes. But no, I was really looking forward to that Chimaev-Dricus fight. Could it still happen? Yes, but the signs are pointing to no. And yeah, probably in the next day or so, we're going to hear a response from Dricus, seeing what's going on. Hopefully it's a minor injury. You know, and that's the thing. I think Dricus recognizes Chimaev's like skill set, and I think he respects him way too much to come in on an injury, even if it's minor. I think Dricus needs to be 100% to go against Chimaev because Chimaev is no joke. I think Chimaev versus Dricus is a complete war. I think Chimaev probably wins via wrestling and a submission, but then again, Dricus has surprised and shut up all his critics, all his doubters, and I don't know. I just really hope that fight gets rebooked. Hopefully for the October fight, Abu Dhabi. But yeah, we don't know what Dricus is injured with, and even if I'm Dricus, I don't specify what the injury is because that'll just give Chimaev a target. All I would say if Dricus is just, hey, either it's a major injury or a minor injury. That's all I would say. But yeah, no. Let's hope for the best because. You know, I'm quite pessimistic when it comes to UFC these days. Hopefully they prove me wrong. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Like and subscribe, and see you next time for the next video.